He has been writing and reporting about presidential administrations for decades, and now Bob Woodward of the Washington Post is raising questions with the ending of his new book about President Trump and coronavirus.
You reach an editorial conclusion at the end of this book, something that reporters are not supposed to do.
Yes, I say the president is the wrong man for the job. It's a conclusion based on evidence, overwhelming evidence that he could not rise to the occasion.
Here to weigh in on that and more, Fox News contributor and author of Trump and the American Future, Newt Gingrich. Newt, thanks for being here. It's great to have you, as always. We want to start with those comments by Woodward about President Trump being the wrong man for the job. What do you make of them?
Well, only in Washington would somebody take the word of somebody who had spent their entire life at the Washington Post, one of the two most liberal newspapers in America, who shockingly discovered that he didn't think Donald Trump was the right president. I mean, give me a break. Bob Woodward's a liberal working for a liberal publication. His entire life has been as a liberal. So from my perspective, nothing there that's surprising. When it tells us about Woodward, it doesn't tell us anything about Trump.
Why do you think the president sat with him for 9 hours and 18 interviews? Did he mention it to you? And if he did, no. what would you say?
Look, every leader I've known has always thought if only they talked to Woodward long enough, he would be their friend. It has never worked. That's not Bob Woodward's job. His job is to sell books. But they all have that same fascination. And in Trump's case, it goes deeper. If you notice, despite his hostility towards the fake news, this is the most open president who talks to the most reporters, who is the most routinely out there on the way to Marine One or on the way to an event. He just chats all the time. And this goes back, I think, to his experience in the 1980s with Page 6 in New York and the entire New York media. Trump found that if he talked to him long enough, he got to be famous. If he got to be famous, He sold his buildings for more money. So to him, it's always been a great game. And I think he just saw Woodward as another example.
I wonder if he had a do-over, if he would do it again, but that's hypothetical. Don't answer that. Bernie Sanders on TV yesterday. Newt, listen to this.
We have got to do more as a campaign than just go after Trump. What people want to hear is what Joe is going to do to raise the minimum wage. They want us to expand health care. Those are some of the issues that people want to hear a little bit more from the Biden campaign about.
Am I here to tell you, absolutely, this is a slam dunk, no chance that he will lose? That is not what I'm saying.
So what is he saying, Newt?
Well, look, I think Sanders typifies the crisis in the Democratic Party. There's an article out today that an expert at Wharton analyzed Biden's budget proposals and says they are the most radical, the most expensive since George McGovern in 1972. And of course, McGovern crashed and burned unbelievably because people thought he was too radical. So Biden's problem is if he does what Sanders wants, he guarantees his defeat because his plans are all so radical, nobody will be for him. On the other hand, if he doesn't do what Bernie wants, the left wing of the Democratic Party may stay home. And I think it puts him in a peculiar dilemma about how to manage his campaign. And so basically, he's tried to just duck and hide and sit in the basement and do as little as possible. That is not lasting. It's beginning to break down. And I think Biden has a much bigger problem than the Washington press corps thinks he does.
Yeah. Well, Newt, you can see that frustration in Bernie Sanders' voice. I wonder if that frustration is also being felt by Sanders supporters who may or may not turn out for Biden. Thanks so much for being here today.